Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we want to take a deeper look at the Tribe Academy week because we took 2 days ago a look at Tribe Gaming. We finished number 14, but with Tribe Academy we actually weren't too bad either. We were on number 47, which isn't too bad. We had quite some more percentage than the other guys around there, so that's nice. But sadly we lost one more, which meant 10 less stars. But we want to take a deeper look at, and at the same time we want to talk about why there's such a big difference between like all of the clans which are around 290 stars, because there are so many clans around those numbers, like 300 to 290. There are so many clans around there. So why is there such a big difference between the like good clans and the real good clans? And that's what we want to take a look at. Meanwhile, I'm showing a couple of attacks in the background. So the first one is going to be on war number 2, on number 11. Let me check. There we go. Okay, so let's talk about why I think there's such a big difference between those top clans and just the top clans. In my opinion, it's all about how efficient you are in using your attacks and using the right strategy. Which means, for example, there's a big difference in clans that are actually making it into the like option or like the pool to visit Poland, and many of those won't really perform on there. This has like a couple of reasons. And one of the reasons, since I don't want to throw any shade, one of the reasons is that they're using the right strategy against those, let's say, casual bases, which is, if you're copying a base, this does not mean this base is good. Bases at the top level are completely depending on the trap placement, whether the trap is placed good, poorly. You can copy pretty much the best design out there, but if you completely screw up the placement of the traps, you won't make it far. And this is a big, like, difficult topic for most of those clans in Champion 1, and most of those clans that are getting completely smashed by those couple of top clans. So the reason behind that is, if you're picking the right strategy, which is really easy to mess up when you're a base builder or like trying to defend the strategy, it's like the best way, obviously. So for example, Mass Hawk Rider right now is like one of the strongest strategies out there, but as soon as people are using it in Poland, it isn't as successful anymore. Obviously, it's still strong, but not stronger than, for example, Queen Charge Lalo, Queen Charge Hawks, or other strategies. And the reason behind that is kind of simple. Like I said, if you don't know on how to place those traps against this strategy, you're pretty much screwed. And that's what a lot of people are doing. There are a lot of bases out there where the king is next to the town hall, where you have to tornado trap next to the town hall, etc. And all those things, you're just gifting the attacker so much value when he's like trying to get those two main things. Like when you're getting an enemy town hall and a king with just your two heroes, it's pretty much GG at this point when you as well gifted the tornado trap, because like I said, most of the guys are using it next to the town hall. So if you can make sure that the attacker won't get that much value, like you try to split up your king, you try to get a little bit more like complex when it gets down to the traps, to get even to the town hall and stuff like this, well, then it's not that easy anymore. But most of the clans don't really do that, and this means that a couple of clans get those 40 plus stars even against max standard 12s, because like I said, those Mass Hawk Rider attacks are not only super strong, they're as well kind of easy to execute, because you have to get your heroes into the town hall, which most of the time isn't too hard. And at the same time, well, you just have to place your heal spells correctly. And this, once again, as well, isn't too hard either. So that's the main reason why I think there are a couple of clans out there that are so strong. For example, I think Carbonfin highlighted a couple of those clans. Check out his channel, by the way, as well. He did a recap for Nova, the number 2 clan, and INTZ, the number 1 clan, I think. I think it's other way around. I think Nova's number 1, INTZ is number 2nd. So those two clans, I think most of the attacks, especially for INTZ, were Mass Hawk Rider attacks. Nothing bad with that. I think it's really clever, but at the same time, that's, in my opinion, the reason why a couple of clans are that high up there. Because most of the players I know, and especially in Tribe Academy, we had that, and you are guys seeing it right now in the replays. Most of them are using queen charge attacks because it's the most fun, and for the war community, it always has been, yeah, queen charge attack is the most skill based attack. So I try to do that, obviously, but it is not the best attack when you're going against those top bases, or like the casual top bases. Let's put it like this, because it's way like you could put in so many mistakes. For example, your ram can't really make it through most of the part of the base. Your wall breakers are dying too quickly in your queen charge. Your healers are getting placed one tile off, and the air defense is shooting your healers even though they're not in range, and stuff like this can really mess up an attack. While if you're just having to get the enemy town hall, then like use 40 to 50 Hawk Riders to overkill the rest of the base, that's not too difficult and actually not too hard to actually accomplish. And at the same time, it's way harder to defend. So that's a super simple, I guess, trick to actually be way higher up there. And yeah, let's see if a couple of changes will be made, or maybe there are at some point better bases or something like this. But I think up to this point, we will see most of the time the same clans again in Poland. And let's see if at some point they can perform better, because so far it was a little bit disappointing from the clans that actually made it through the in-game clan war league. So that's basically it for me when it comes down to the reasoning why there are so many top clans out there that make it to Poland and don't really perform over there. So let's see how it's this time. But yeah, so far that's pretty much my take on this one. We tried to take a look at the attack from Parsi, really nice queen charge onto this base. And like I said, in Tribe Academy, we used a lot of queen charges. Nearly pretty much every attack was a queen charge. We have a couple of other attacks, but like I said, mainly queen charge. And that's at the same time, I think, the reason why we didn't make weren't too good. Still, number 47 in the world isn't too bad, but at the same time, it could be better. So it is how it is, I guess. And this was a really nice attack from Parsi, trying to completely overkilling the base with Hawk Riders, because I think most of the spring traps in this one are around this area. At least that's my guess, because there were nearly no spring traps at the top. But like I said, once again, it's not too easy to place those traps. So it isn't really surprising me that we didn't saw too many spring traps in this attack. So the next one is going to be on number 15. Let's check out this one. And this one is going to be Queen Charge Electro Dragons, something unusual as well. Let me know. I'm still thinking about, I'm always in the beginning of the Legend League season. I'm always showcasing a couple of strategies, which are not that usual maybe, or try new stuff, because the beginning of the season don't really, it doesn't really matter what you're doing. You can still be at the bottom in the beginning, and then as soon as the second half of the season is starting, you're pretty much jumping through the bottom of the Legend League. But let me know what you want to see strategy-wise, because Queen Charge Electro Dragons was actually one of my armies I thought about using in Legend League, or at least trying. The same with Queen Charge Dragons. So let me know if you're interested in seeing stuff like this. And at the same time, there are a couple of news coming pretty soon for this English channel when it comes down to the upload frequency. And at the same time, we might get an English Discord. So let's check out what is coming and what our options are. Back to the attack from Zebix. The queen funnel didn't really work as planned. His queen went this way, even though she meant to walk over here. This means she's pretty much following the Light Dragons, being pretty useless. So he's pretty much overkilling this base with just the Light Dragons from a queen charge and using all of the spells at the same time as well. He still has the Slammer left. It's getting opened really soon. And there's a kind of weird Tesla farm over here, which is kind of useless, but those Elect Dragons are completely fine, taking care of the rest of the base. Meanwhile, the queen is trying to be useful and breaking out of the base again, going around and helping the Elect Dragons to finish this base. We can speed that up and jump immediately into the next attack. And this is going to be a Queen Charge minor attack. Like I said, a lot of Queen Charge attacks in Tribe Academy. I think we had maybe 1 or 2 mass Hawk attacks, maybe. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's one of the main reasons. So Queen Charge Miners number, or like War 6. And let's check it out. It's over here. So there we go. Queen Charge Miner, one of my most favorite attacks. I think I told that you guys like already so many times. And at the same time, I like this attack because it's pretty much really simple. Because you have to think about a couple of things. For example, the pathing. But that's basically it. So you have to make sure that your miners have a straight line going through the base. And then they are so strong. Like, in my opinion, the strongest troop. Even stronger than Hog Riders and even stronger than Lalo. But obviously it depends on the base. But I don't know. I just love them. So let's see how Jay is doing. He's trying to get his queen into this little alley while his P.E.K.K.A is funneling over here. And as soon as his queen is getting in, he can reach the Eagle and the Inferno Tower, which is super nice because those two are pretty much gone. And at the same time, he can't get the Town Hall because this means that his healers will stay alive, because if his queen could have reached the Town Hall, that would have been actually bad for him, because his healers were placed over here and then path over here. With the queen shooting the Town Hall, the healers would be in the range of the Town Hall like 100%, which means they would have died. But with the placement like this, he can make sure that his queen is getting into this, taking care of the Eagle and the Inferno Tower, and meanwhile his miners are coming in, going through the base. And because he's not getting the enemy queen, he is using the miners and not, for example, the Hog Riders. So that's like the main reason behind that. Miners are going through everything, looking really nice. Warden ability probably really soon. And the next heal spell. I think he thought that a couple of miners would go to the enemy queen, but that didn't really happen. So yeah. But this slammer is so nice because there is no air defense. This means the slammer will follow all of those defenses. And then he can place like just a wizard behind. And this means this base is completely direct. He can use the Warden ability to save all of his miners and the queen at the same time, which is nice. And this slammer, damn, he's getting so much value with the slammer. I think there are even more miners, even Hog Riders in. Okay, nice as well. 3 Hog Riders already gone. Healing the Hog Riders, I think he could have placed the heals a little bit better to secure the miners as well. But this is going to be a triple in the end. Really nice attack by Jay. Really nicely abusing that this guy like had, I don't know, the space was weird with Inferno Tower and the Eagle. But let's check out the last attack for this episode, and it's going to be on number 11. And it's going to be a Lalo, and this is probably my second guess when it comes down to best army you can use versus those semi-casual bases, I would call them, because most of those bases have so many mistakes in there, and you can abuse those the easiest way with those mass attacks, like Mass Hawk, Mass Lalo, even though this is way more difficult to use. He's kind of lucky with the CC because there's like a Mass Archer CC, which is super annoying against Electro Dragons. And he has to wait for the last Archer to come out, and the king is smashing through the wall. Meanwhile, his queen should follow, and this means he got everything he wanted. Then he can start his Lalo behind the sweepers, because both sweepers are pointing this way. And stuff like this you can abuse, like I said, really easily with those armies. Your Lalo is flying like this. He's saving the slammer for probably the Town Hall, because he doesn't really want to waste the Earthquake. So he's using the slammer to try to activate the Town Hall, which isn't actually working too well because he placed too many loons on the Archer Tower. So let's check it out how he's able to recover using the Skeleton spell to make sure that the enemy queen is down, using the Warden early. And from this point it's all about, well, a couple of loons are going to the Town Hall. He's placing more loons, hastening them in. I think he will freeze the Town Hall, yes. And this means he kind of will sacrifice those loons. Meanwhile, most of his loons are flying into the backside of this base. Heal spell is Yeah, the loons are in the heal spell. That's nice. The warden is tanking for the loons actually, and this is going to be a 3-star. Not the smoothest, but it's going to be a triple in the end. All of the skeletons and the minions will clean up the last archer tower, and this is going to be the last attack for this episode. And like I said, this is probably the reason why Tribe Academy wasn't too high. Too many risky attacks. But yeah, I hope you guys learned something, and I will see you guys in the next episode again. If you want to see any specific armies or like strategies, let me know down below in the comments, and I will see you guys next time.